All right, now let's get this shit over with quick. I got a recording engagement at 8 o'clock with real money they're paying. Get your music going. Let's go. Julian Breen prepares to join the ranks of Don Curran, Dick Silverberg, and other WABC lost souls who have exchanged the IRT subway for the cable car, we pause and review the highlights of his career at WABC. Lacking any highlights, we will continue with the Julian Breen story. Julian Breen brought to WABC qualities rarely found in the broadcasting environment: modesty, humility, tact, and an extraordinary ability to handle people. These rare human traits are no better illustrated than in his relationship with the coordinator of radio and television for the Board of Education, Joy Fisher.
Mr. Sklar's office. Rick, Joy Fisher's on the phone.
Oh, Christ. Hello, Rick Sklar here.
Hello, Rick. Joy Fisher. How are you? Rick, I don't want you to think I'm going over Julian's head, but I have had it with that man. He is insufferable.
Joy, what seems to be the trouble?
Trouble? There's no trouble except the trouble he's making over nothing. I had scheduled your studios for a Board of Ed show next Tuesday afternoon from 3:53 to 4:18. Wednesday morning from 7:20 to 8:02. Wednesday night from 8:15 to 9:30 and all day Saturday. Since then, I have learned that one of my most important guests, Prunella Liberation, who's come all the way from Johannesburg, was promised to WHN on Tuesday, and Dr. Mead can't make it on Saturday. And when I nicely requested Julian to reschedule us from Monday at 11:30 to 12:08, Thursday 5:15 in the morning to 8 a.m., and again from 6:15 and 10 p.m., and Sunday from 3 to 4 in the afternoon. When I made this simple request of Julian, instead of just changing the schedule, he told me to fuck off.
Well, Joy, if we don't have a little give and take on both sides, we'll never get anywhere. Make an effort to meet Julian halfway.
Julian Breen devoted the major portion of each week to preparing, recording, editing, doctoring, and otherwise producing editorials for WABC. Editorials starring George Williams.
George, we're ready to record this week's editorial. Just read it the way I marked it for pronunciation, and the listeners will never realize that you have absolutely no announcing ability. Okay, Klaus, run the tape.
Let's get the hookers off the streets.
A WABC editorial by George H. Williams, Vice President and General Manager.
The streets of this city are no longer safe for the decent businessman. It has become impossible to walk from one part of Midtown to another without being accosted by low-class women of ill repute. Now, nobody is against a little fun now and then, and there are some pretty decent party girls in this town. But these chippies overcharge, underdeliver, and wear their skirts too short in public. You've got to draw the line somewhere, and in our opinion, the place to draw it is in the streets.
To air your views, write to WABC Editorial, New York 10019.
Well, Julian, how did my editorial go?
Sterling. But we have to permit a rebuttal.
What?
De Beer says we have to honor a request for a reply by a madam.
Let's keep the girls working.
A reply to a WABC editorial by Madam Sally Goodtimes.
In a year when the city is in a recession and jobs and money are hard to come by, it seems incredible to us that WABC could embark on a campaign to close down an entire industry. Speaking for the girls of Happy House, we feel that the proposals of WABC would work a hardship on both us and our clients. And we further wish that Mr. Williams would pay his bills sooner. This 90-day routine is killing us. Thank you.
Julian Breen will be remembered around WABC for his exceptional grasp of engineering technology.
Klaus, I want this job dubbed from 15 to 15. Give me a little EQ at 7.5 kilocycles. Roll off the bottom at 25 cycles. I want a little compression and echo from the source only. Rewind on a Pro 7 with front leader only. Tails out, and remember, I want everything equalized. I want everything compressed.
But it is already compressed.
Well, then decompress it.
Is that an order?
Right on.
Excuse me. Right on.
All right, then, because I only follow orders.
Julian Breen produced the Cosell Show occasionally, often saving Howard's ass. When told Breen was leaving, Howard Cosell said,
Leaving? The production kid, what's his name, is leaving? What is his name? I don't know his name. I don't want to know his name. The kid's been stealing studio time from me for 2 years. San Francisco, eh? With the likes of Curran, I say good riddance and goodbye.
This is Amanda Jones of the New York Urban Task Force. I never met a public service director who helped us more than Julia Breen. She was just great. Thank you.
Julian Breen worked closely with Charles DeBaer on protecting WABC's license.
So, what's happening?
Julian, I want you to check the station every week to make certain there are lots of public service announcements. I want to hear them every time I tune in.
So Julian Breen put lots of public service announcements on the radio. But they were a different kind of public service spot. They bore Breen's mark of originality.
This is Jerry Kretschmer, Commissioner of Environmental Protection for New York City. Don't throw garbage on the streets of New York. Take it to New Jersey.
If you've already got venereal disease, then you're not taking any risk calling me at Butterfield 85055. Come on.
Beat the draft. Join the Marines.
Some of Julian's public service announcements were often painfully true.
Aren't you glad you live in these modern times when health problems can be openly discussed? For example, 1 out of every 3 adults suffers some symptoms of hemorrhoids. Several outstanding doctors have reported an exclusive medication. Preparation H gives prompt temporary relief in many cases from the pain of hemorrhoidal tissues. And Preparation H actually helps shrink swelling of hemorrhoidal tissues caused by inflammation and infection. Remember, there's no other formula like doctor-tested Preparation H.
One of Breen's fortes was his excellent relationship with on-the-air talent.
Fuck you. What do you mean? That's great. Jesus Christ, Breen. You got a flea in your beard today.
The fuck is the matter with you, Breen?
Do you sit on the editorial block again? What sounds great at KYA? I want you to know that New York's loss is San Francisco's disaster, Breen. You're really going to do the same kind of shit in San Francisco, right? I want to tell you. Be prepared to move to Oakland, Breen. Father Medora, David White, Rabbi Stearns, Brother Jadoff, Pastor Ankle, Cardinal Gums, all hit super holy clergy on WABC.
When Rick Sklar was on vacation, Julian Breen ran the music meetings.
In the absence of our fearless leader, I will conduct these meetings. First of all, we will have a few procedural changes. 1, the meetings will start precisely at 10 o'clock. Secondly, any disgruntled or deranged record pluggers that show up complaining about the playlist are to be sent down to the lobby and turned over to John the Nazi. And finally, I'm going to adjust these sound controls so that we can tell what these records really sound like. Listen, this is perfection in a sound system.
Unknown to even most WABC staffers was Julian Breen's secret role as underground courier and agent for Rick Sklar. We can now reveal how Sklar stole talent from other markets by sending Breen, armed with several sets of contracts, from city to city, looting stations of their talent.
Well, Rick, I've succeeded. I flew to Miami and stole away the top talent, just as you asked. I've got his signature on the contract. Here it is.
Well, but this isn't the hot Mazuma, Colby Lung.
I think I made a mistake. I hired the big kahuna, Roby Young.
And so, having made his mark in New York, Julian Breen stands before the Golden Gate, waiting for it to open.
This is it. San Francisco. I can hear Don Curran's voice calling to me through the fog.
This way, Julian. You can make it. Follow my voice.
I'm coming, Don. I can see Telegraph Hill, Sausalito, Angela Davis waving from her cell window. I'm coming home.
Highlights of Julian Breen's career at WABC was written by Rick Sklar in 1 minute and 7 seconds. Marty Ross was coerced into playing Julian Breen. Joy Fisher was played by Diane Johnson. Rick Sklar was Rick Sklar. George Williams was played by George Williams, with a lot of coaching. Rick Sklar portrayed Klaus Gruber. Howard Cosell was who else? Sally Goodtimes and Amanda Jones were played by Naomi Pringle. The Marine was portrayed by Lieutenant William Kelly. Jerry Kretschmer was played by Joy Fisher. Chuck DeBear was Judge Crater. Ashtrays were emptied by Frank Kingston Smith. The Butterfield 8 girl was Bernadette Chaufflet. This is Lamont Cranston speaking. The Teutonic Titmouse was played by Klaus Gizzard. The Gesellschaft was operated by Claus Grumbler. Engineering by Bob Deitch, George Berger, and Ronnie Sims. This